Hi. So I know that we met previously before the session to discuss your friend who has asked quite a lot of you lately, and there's been some frustrations and some tension in the relationship, and it seems as though it's very important to you. So I would like to take some time today to explore that and figure out what's happening there.
Yeah, so lately it's been a lot of, she thinks things are my responsibility. I'm the maid of honor, and she has kind of gone off the deep end. One of her bridesmaids has now said, you know what, F you, we're not friends anymore, and is actually no longer in the bridal party. And he was a male, and he went off and was like, you know what, you're delusional, and told her that she was delusional and toxic, and he didn't want to have anything else to do with her. And, you know, she took it pretty hard, and she leaned on me, and I'm fine being leaned on. It's just, it's a hard limit on when she has to stop leaning on me and kind of be an adult. And it's gotten to the point where she has started saying, like, every day when she's having a problem, she will call me or text me crying, saying, like, oh, I want to call this wedding off. And I have tried to be the friend that's there for her, saying, like, okay, let's talk about it, let's talk through it. But she's, like, she gets over it within hours, but she's still just, she's in a hard spot, and I don't know where to help her, really.
Okay.
So I guess the most recent thing is the last few days, she said that they had gotten in a fight about money, and I had asked her, you know, well, have you guys talked about it anymore? And her response was, yeah, he's lost his bananas about it. And I was just like, okay, well, since, you know, this is something that's been reoccurring, why don't you guys talk about, like, you know, calling it off, taking a break, y'all reassess your own lives. And she was just like, I don't want that. How dare you? And then she got mad at me. So I was like, all right, whatever. And then she just kind of threw everything that I guess was on her plate onto my plate and was like, you don't have me a cake yet. You don't have a dress yet. You don't have this yet. And now she's telling me things are her responsibility. So I'm ready to just back out because I don't want it to be my responsibility. It shouldn't be my responsibility.
Right. So she has made you feel responsible for her wedding by demanding the cake, the dress, the invitations. You are her almost therapist, it sounds like. And it sounds like it's just been exhausting.
Yeah.
And you said that she has taken all of her stuff and put it on your plate.
Right.
And I'm a little confused because you said now she's saying it's her responsibility?
It's my responsibility.
Oh, that it's your responsibility.
Yeah, she's telling me that it's my responsibility. Like, yesterday she was like, well, why haven't you ordered the cake yet? And I was like, I'm sorry, in what world is the maid of honor responsible for purchasing the bridal cake? That's not something I signed up for. The maid of honor is responsible for a bachelorette party, buying a dress, and being there on your friend's day. And I think she feels like I'm more of an event planner than anything else, and that's not what I'm doing.
So what do you see your role being as her maid of honor?
More of the support system of letting her, you know, if she needs something to talk about, I can talk about it with you, and I can help you, you know, give you advice on where to go, and, you know, having a shoulder to cry on when things are hard.
Okay.
And I think I've done my fair share of that. And, you know, maybe a speech, sure. Buying a dress, sure. Planning a bachelorette party, sure. But other things that are more her job, right now I feel like I'm being in charge of. And that's not what I think my role is.
Have you told her this?
Yes.
And so when you've set this boundary, how did she react to that?
Awful. So last night, actually, I told her that, you know, she's not the only one in the world that has stuff going on, and that, I am working full-time, I'm in school full-time, and that her wedding is actually, more importantly, her cake is not at the forefront of my mind. And she kind of, spiraled downwards and was like, well, I am at the top. I need to be at the top of your priority list, and you're acting like you don't have any responsibility in this, and this is crunch time. And it was like a 5 to 7 page text message, and I just didn't respond. I was like, meh, I have homework and sleep I need to get. Plus, I don't feel well, so good night. And then this morning, she kind of backpedaled, like, well, I don't want us to be fighting over this. You just need to make sure you have a dress by Saturday, because the wedding is next week.
Wow. So it sounds, just the way that you've talked about this, your voice has changed.
Yeah.
As you're saying what she has said to you and explaining what has been happening in this relationship.
Right.
That shows me you're very frustrated.
Yes.
Because you've tried to set boundaries with her that aren't being respected.
Yes.
So what do you think you can do about that?
Give her space. That's what I've been trying to do, is just give her space and say, all right, I'm going to let her think about, let her realize, and maybe is delusional, like her friend said, that, she's not going to realize that she doesn't have that boundary. She doesn't think that's a boundary that she's crossing, and I think she probably needs to realize that for herself, and I can't always tell her everything she needs to hear.
So what are some of the ways that you can create space between you and her?
Not answering every time she calls, not responding to her text messages.
Right. And what I'm really hearing underneath all of this, beneath the frustration, is that you work full-time, and you're a full-time student, and you're engaged, and you have daily responsibilities that are important to Angelique, and it feels overwhelming to not just be taking care of Angelique, but also somebody else as well.
Right. Like, I don't mind having, someone leaning on me, but I'm not in that kind of relationship, She needs to be leaning on her fiance. I can lean on my parents, I can lean on my fiance, but I am not leaning on anyone else for that much support. And at this point, I feel like she's leaning on me like I'm her only person to lean on, and my plate is full, and with her leaning on it, I feel like it's tipping over. With school and work and being engaged and having a puppy and trying to do homework and, keeping up with my own family and planning, my brother's engaged, planning that wedding, there's a lot going on, and I don't need her daily stress and my own daily stress.
And you might have mentioned this, might have missed this in us talking about this. You've clearly outlined to her, this is what I'm willing to do and this is what I'm not willing to do.
Yeah.
So I think it would be important to stick to the boundaries that you set, because it can be difficult when it's a friend who's important to you, is leaning on you, and this is her important day.
Right.
But it also means that Angelique has to take care of herself by doing homework, and going to bed early, and taking care of herself by eating dinner, and spending time with her fiance or her family. And so it sounds like there are some solutions that you've already been able to identify, and then to even take that a step further is to realize I've done my part. I've made it very clear what my role is.
Right.
Imagine how it would feel to know that however she reacts has nothing to do with you.
Right.
Where those feelings of feeling on the hook for things would just be gone.
Right.
Feel really good.
Right. I am just excited for it to all be over. I feel that I shouldn't be feeling this way. I shouldn't be this wrapped up in what's going on. I should be excited for March 5th, and I should be excited to stand next to her on her big day. But I'm more just ready for it to be over. And I feel like I can just imagine what it's going to feel like on, March 5th after the reception. Like, great, wash my hands, done. And, oh, great, I can have a weekend back to myself. I can plan my own wedding, for Christ's sakes. I can think about my own wedding and be excited again.
What if you took some time this weekend where you just shut off your phone and took time for yourself before the wedding?
Right. I don't know. I guess I feel like right now if I don't have a dress, then God almighty, I hope I do. I hope to hopefully buy one tonight. But if I have a dress this weekend, I can just take some time and be like, close my eyes, breathe, study for exams, and do well in life rather than have to micromanage her life because she can't even manage any of it.
So part of what we've talked about today to relieve this stress is
Right.
to set boundaries with your friend, to set some priorities of, okay, I know I do need to buy a dress. After that, there's time set aside for Angelique
Right.
to take care of
Maybe I'll get a
my needs.
massage.
That would be another good solution.
That sounds like a best idea.
So hopefully the next time I see you,
Yeah.
you will have been able to incorporate some of these things before a wedding where it will take some of that frustration and feeling overwhelmed and
Right.
stressed off of you, where you can feel like you can breathe,
Right.
and it will carry you through the wedding.
Perfect.
Well,
Thanks.
thank you, Angelique.
Thank you so much.